Very good. My name is Matthew Tonts. This is my UWA. So I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Arts, Business Law and Education here at the University of Western Australia. I've worked here, well, it must be going on nearly 20 years now. I'm a native-born Western Australian. Did all of my education in Western Australia before going and working overseas for a number of years. And I came back in 2001. And working at the university has been just a joy for all of those 20 years. I worked with students of all sorts of different, in all sorts of different interesting areas. I've taken students on field trips to America, to Borneo. We've taken students to Europe. We work in some of the most cutting-edge facilities that you could possibly ever be a part of. And I guess one of the other things that's wonderful about being here is that every time I come to work, I'll engage with something different. In my role, one day I could be working with the Conservatorium of Music, and the very next day with the business school. I could be working with the School of Education on teacher training and the future of education, and then the next day working on some obscure area of the humanities or philosophy. So it's a wonderful place to work, always diverse and fabulously interesting. This is a great university for opportunity. I've always found that it's a place where if you come and you study hard or you work hard, it'll reward you with lots of great opportunities. The more you put into this place, I've always found the more that you get out of it. And so one of the great things about coming to work every single day is that there's new challenges in front of us, there's new things we'll be learning about, there's new things we'll be working on. And so all the time I'm coming in and working with fantastically interesting people, with some of the brightest young students that I could possibly work with, but also we're engaged very much with people in the community and in business and in government, and being able to have some sort of an influence over the future of life in Western Australia, within the Indo-Pacific, within the world is a wonderful thing to be able to do. So now that we've talked about my UWA, what about your UWA? One of the great things about working in this faculty is that every day I get to come in and work with great students, and those students will be the ones who change the world. They're the students who will be the leaders in business, in law, in education. They are the students who will reshape the world in many, many ways. They will work with some of the leading technologies that are available in their fields. They'll work with some of the leaders in their particular industries. We have great people coming in from government, from the private sector, from not-for-profits, all of whom will help shape your career and your future. Some of the coolest things that we've worked on over the last few years have been around the history of settlement in Western Australia. And some of our archaeologists have found that in fact human settlement was much, much earlier than anybody had thought. And in fact that the cultures of those first settlers in Northern Australia were much more complex and elaborate than anybody had ever realised. And it was our people here at this very campus who made that global discovery. So, you know, the sorts of graduates that we've had have been everything from a Prime Minister through to Chief Justice of the High Court, through to some of the most senior government leaders, to leaders of industry, but also doing really important work with not-for-profits, you know, in charities, in dealing with questions like homelessness, in addressing literacy, in addressing all of those sorts of big challenges that mankind faces. So we put a lot of effort into making sure that students get to know the people that they're working with, that they get to know other students. There's a lot of focus on making sure that students connect with each other, but there's also a lot of focus on joining in. You know, the best thing you can do if you come to this university is participate. We have clubs, we have societies, we have sporting clubs. You'll get to know a whole bunch of other students who will be your colleagues and your friends for the rest of your lives. So I'd say if I was one piece of advice I'd give any student in coming to the university is join in, and join in beyond the classroom. Don't just go to your lectures, go off and participate in all of those other things that we offer, and that will set you up for the rest of your career. So the university provides a very supportive environment for students. The staff get to know the students very, very well. They'll work with you closely on your career development and on your learning. They'll give you opportunities to work with companies, to work with government organisations, to have field experiences. They'll take you to various parts of the state and even other parts of the world. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to work closely with staff in a supportive environment. So one of the great things I think about being at the university is that there's always the opportunity to meet the students in the coffee shops, even in the bars around the campus. There's always events that are here, and so I actually think that much of the learning that happens at this place is on the lawns, in the coffee shops. It's the incidental meetings that people have around the place where they're bumping into their colleagues, where they're bumping into the lecturers, that the real action takes place. It's a wonderful place to be because people are always engaged and meeting up with each other. So this is your UWA. If you see me around, stop and say g'day.